It was planned from the beginning. She denied being interested in the royal family, which she totally was. I know someone who knows the ex-husband who said she had a vision board with Prince Harry on it.
Before they met?
Yes. And she wants to
That's
pretend.
impressive. You got to admit that is impressive.
She nailed it, yeah.
Meghan Markle actually posted a vision board on Instagram. So this is absolutely the type of thing she uses.
Yes, she likes that, doesn't she?
Skeptics, the Sussexes' widely derided dance film is hard evidence that the manipulative Ms. Markle used prosthetic moon bumps to fabricate both of her phantom pregnancies.
Important. She married for money. It's very clear. She bagged the elephant. She was thrilled. She became a, quote, princess.
I mean, we obviously know via Tom Bower that Meghan Markle returned her engagement ring to Trevor Engelson.
That non-mother Meg was never pregnant, and the childless Sussexes continue to subject the world to an extraordinary hoax.
My castle's too small.
Yeah.
The queen is mean to me. They won't let me call myself Her Royal Highness anymore, but I'm going to put it all over my stationery and on the gifts that I give to my friends.
They had a meeting. They were off there to look at the stars. And, all that was very carefully done. And it proves that we're not wrong to not believe almost everything she says.
That improbably huge, low-slung baby belly looked kind of odd. But why the hell would the gruesome twosome pretend to be parents? That is the question.
Well, she never stops whining. And at the same time, I'm getting all worked up. I'm a founder.
For years, the world has watched a carefully crafted fairy tale unfold, a narrative of triumph and grace. Yet, whispers have always lingered, hinting at a darker truth beneath the polished veneer. Now, a bombshell has exploded, shattering that meticulously curated image, and the fallout is nothing short of devastating. The person igniting this blaze? The one who knew her long before the crowns and castles, her former husband, Trevor Engelson. Engelson, a man who has remained conspicuously silent for years, has finally broken his silence. And what he's revealed isn't merely shocking. It's a seismic disruption to everything we thought we knew. While Meghan Markle has masterfully woven a public persona of victimhood and ambition, projecting an image rooted in carefully controlled narratives, Engelson's first-hand accounts peel back the layers of deception. His truths aren't just gossip. They're the intimate confessions of a man who witnessed her calculated ascent long before the royal spotlight blinded the world. Among his most startling claims is a revelation that has sent shockwaves through royal watchers. Meghan allegedly underwent a hysterectomy years before she ever announced her pregnancies to the world. A procedure that renders a woman unable to conceive, this claim directly contradicts the entire narrative of her royal motherhood. If Engelson's memory is accurate, how could Meghan possibly have been pregnant with Archie and Lilibet? Was it a medical miracle, or was something else entirely at play? This shocking disclosure reignites old questions that never truly vanished. Were Meghan's royal pregnancies real? Or were they meticulously rehearsed? The skepticism deepens when Engelson's observations about her public appearances surface. While the world was enchanted by the glowing Duchess gently cradling her bump, Trevor, who had lived with Meghan for years, saw something disturbingly familiar. He claims the way she held her belly, posed for the cameras, and even walked was a chilling echo of her past. Meghan, he revealed, had once played a pregnant character in a low-budget drama. During those rehearsals, she obsessively studied how pregnant women moved, even practicing with a weighted bump. Years later, watching her walk onto the royal stage with those same movements, that identical hand placement, the same dramatic pauses, Engelson was stunned. It wasn't maternal instinct. It was unsettling muscle memory. It was like watching a scene they had already rehearsed at home, reinforcing the chilling suspicion that Meghan had simply recycled an old acting script, this time for the global stage. Engelson also paints a disturbing picture of Meghan's emotional range. He claims she possessed a frightening ability to cry on cue, a talent she often weaponized to manipulate people into siding with her. Whether it was during a disagreement with him, a conflict at work, or even public interviews, Meghan allegedly knew precisely when and how to play the victim. Trevor watched it happen repeatedly, each time observing how those around her fell for the performance. According to him, she wasn't just acting on screen. She was an actress in every aspect of her life. He even recalled moments when Meghan rehearsed how she'd deliver emotional stories for job interviews or press appearances, practicing where her voice should crack, how her eyes should well up, and when to pause for sympathy. It was disturbing to watch, he said. It wasn't authentic, it was calculated performance art. Adding to the layers of manipulation, Engelson suggests that Meghan's royal pregnancy announcements were strategically timed. According to him, her public declarations of expecting a child often coincided with moments when public opinion was beginning to sour. Rumors of royal feuds, staff walkouts, and diva behavior were already circling. Then, suddenly, a pregnancy announcement. For Engelson, the entire sequence felt less like a joyous celebration and more like a calculated distraction move. And it worked. The media frenzy around baby Sussex conveniently drowned out the growing criticisms Meghan was facing. For Trevor, it was classic Meghan, using personal news to shift the narrative and reset her public image. He claimed she employed this tactic even during their marriage. Whenever things grew too hot, she'd change the story. To him, this wasn't motherhood. It was media manipulation at its peak. Perhaps the most cutting observation Engelson made was about Meghan's transformation from Hollywood starlet to royal mother. He claims the polished, glowing image she projected during her pregnancies was less about the joy of motherhood and more about brand strategy. From the coordinated fashion statements to the staged photo shoots, every detail seemed engineered for maximum media appeal. According to Trevor, Meghan always dreamed of being more than just a celebrity. She wanted to be an icon. And nothing sells better in the public eye than a beautiful, strong mother. He said her entire aesthetic changed once the pregnancy was announced. Outfits became softer, gestures more maternal, and smiles more serene. But behind the scenes, it was all business. She knew that pregnant women are adored. Trevor reportedly said, she didn't just play the part, she monetized it. The dramatic end of their own marriage, according to Engelson, was another stark example of Meghan's chilling pragmatism. While public statements blamed long distance for their split, Trevor now asserts that was merely the polite version of the truth. In reality, Meghan had become entirely obsessed with fame. He describes a gradual but chilling shift in her personality. Once grounded and affectionate, she allegedly grew cold, dismissive, and calculating the moment her career picked up steam. He claims she began surrounding herself with people who could elevate her while subtly pushing him to the sidelines. The final straw, according to Trevor? Meghan mailed her wedding ring back in a small package with no note, no goodbye, no explanation. That, he says, was her real way of ending things. Abrupt, clinical, and undeniably image-conscious. She had no intention of salvaging a marriage she had already outgrown. Trevor believes the British royal family didn't turn cold on Meghan because they didn't understand her. They turned cold because they finally, truly understood her. He claims that, like him, the royals were initially charmed. Meghan was magnetic, articulate, and image-perfect. But over time, patterns emerged. Leaks to the press, dramatic victim stories, and a constant need for control over narratives began to raise significant red flags. Trevor said it mirrored exactly what happened in their marriage. At first, she was the dream partner, but eventually, everything revolved around her. When the royals distanced themselves, he argues it wasn't cruelty. It was sheer self-preservation. He believes they ultimately saw what he had seen years earlier. A woman who didn't just want a family, but craved power, praise, and total control. For years, Trevor Engelson refused to speak publicly about Meghan Markle, out of respect, perhaps out of fear, or even a lingering love. But after watching the public swallow her stories whole, especially stories he knew couldn't possibly be true, he reportedly decided enough was enough. I let her spin the story for too long, he allegedly told a close friend. Now, people deserve the truth. His decision to speak wasn't fueled by revenge, he claims, but by a desperate need for clarity. He watched as Meghan portrayed herself as a trailblazing, misunderstood heroine while conveniently rewriting or erasing the parts of her past that didn't fit her carefully constructed narrative. Trevor's voice, long silenced by royal protocol and personal trauma, is now echoing across headlines, and it's impossible to ignore. From surgically concealed truths to a career built on meticulously crafted illusions, Trevor Engelson has peeled back the curtain on Meghan Markle's most guarded secrets. While the Duchess may attempt to dismiss his words as mere bitterness, the world is beginning to ask a profoundly unsettling question. What if he's telling the truth? And we've all been watching a captivating yet entirely fabricated royal performance.